Shooter 27 Kane here today, and we're going to do a review of Proteus for the Nintendo Switch. Let's do an overview, find out what this game is all about. Well, this game is a first-person shooter, very much akin or in the vein of the old Doom or Duke Nukem games. The cool thing about this game, though, is it allows you to pick between a pixelated art style or an old-school 3D art style. I have kind of a mixture going of both, and the customization options this game allows you is pretty out of this world. I love the fact that I can change the depth of the pixels themselves, and I can also change the shading, and I can add scan lines or take them away. I know this is kind of a gripe for some people, but after playing with the options at the beginning, I found something that really worked well for me and did fantastic. So if you're familiar with the term boomer shooter, then this game should fit right in and you should know right what we're talking about. Well, first up, we're going to start with the controls and audio. And that's because I want to show off the audio in this game. I know I might get in a little bit of trouble for this, but it is top notch. I didn't think anything could really compare to Doom, but this game certainly tries its best. Let's show some off. Well, that's just a small sample of the audio there, and as you can imagine, it's pretty freaking amazing. Everything from the sound effects to the soundtrack itself, to all the different sounds all the creatures and guns make, this game will keep you hyped. On top of that, the control scheme allows you to change anything you want to and put any controls in any place. I love this because honestly, I could not stand the default controls, and the fact that I had so much control over the options themselves made this game worth it for me. I put together a scheme that in my opinion worked great and allows me to do things that work fantastically for me. Well, with that great category out of the way, let's move on to the next, the gameplay. And the gameplay in this game is what you see is what you get. So as you can see, the gameplay in this is a very fast-paced first-person shooter. It's built just like the old-school Doom games, and it has you essentially moving on a linear path from point to point. That's not bad though, and it kind of works in the favor of this game because it allows you not to get lost or stumble upon glitches essentially in the game that aren't supposed to exist. If an area looks like it's off the beaten path, it's probably a secret, and the game is well designed around allowing you to figure that out. So on top of all that, the game features a fantastic multiplayer version that is online and allows you to customize that as well. You can also make your own maps and play other people's maps and campaigns. This allows for a ton of replay value and allows you to invest a lot of time in exploring this game. The game itself is built around that simple premise of just going from point A to point B, but there's a lot of interesting things that they can do within those little tiny constraints. The only potentially negative thing I can say about this game is if you have photosensitivity, it might be really hard to play. So with that out of the way, let's hit the story now. And the story in this game is, as you would imagine, pretty bare bones. The story in this game sees humans at war with monsters of the Chaos Dimension and simultaneously at war with the AI Proteus. This AI made the world of mortals, and now you're a vessel and you have swung the tide too much in the favor of chaos. You must atone for this by stopping chaos and saving humanity. So as you can imagine, this essentially just allows the story to take you from point A to point B. You'll occasionally run into chaos monsters, or you'll run into AI-possessed creatures, which are usually highlighted in blue, but they'll be at war with each other and at war with you, and it leads to a ton of confusion and really awesome battles. Now, from what I understand, when you download other people's campaigns and play them through, they may have other story elements to them or include their own independent stories. So the game obviously allows for a ton of flexibility with all of these different options. I personally have not finished the main campaign 100% and therefore have not tried to do any of this yet, so I don't have a lot of experience. Let's do combat now. So the combat in this game is obviously very fast-paced, and I love every aspect of it. Yes, it functions and runs like a Doom clone, but that's not a bad thing. Doom got something right. I don't really play a lot of first-person shooters, and one of my issues with them has to do with the way that the games are built around too much simulation. This is pure adrenaline and fun. The speed to the game, the energy to the game, the hype to the game makes everything fun. You really feel epic, like you're doing something amazing. Now, I don't mean anything negative against any other first-person shooters. I just simply am not into that kind of style of them. I tend to want to play them like an arcade game, a lot like I tend to want to play a lot of racing games as well. So you won't see me playing too many simulation racing games on top of that. So let's talk a little bit about the combat options now. As you can imagine, you start with your fists, work your way up to a pistol, and then a shotgun, then dual submachine guns, then a plasma rifle, railgun, rocket launcher, etc., etc. There are tons of different options for killing your enemies, and lots of different ways to spray paint the walls red with blood. Personally, my favorite weapon in just about every one of these style games is the combat shotgun. There's something about the way they make the gun feel when it punches, and something about the amount of power that you get out of that weapon in every clone of Doom. Doom got the combat shotgun right, and if they want to be successful and get that feeling, they have to copy that, and frankly this game does that in droves. Well, I could go on all day about combat, so let's move on to the next category, the graphics and animations. At first, I thought the graphics were solely a pixelated art style. The way that I've seen every review and everyone else talk about it is that is the only option. But that frankly is not true. When you get into the options menu, it allows you to customize, and you can reduce the pixels to almost nothing and make it all 3D polygons. You can do the opposite. You can take all the 3D polygon out of it and make it completely sprite-based. This game has so many cool visual options and so many different ways of expressing it that I don't think I've ever played a game that allowed me to do this much. On top of that, the animations category is amazing. Because of having this option to switch between pixel and 3D art, the animations move fluidly with it. Enemies turn left and right, you have a top-down view and a bottom view. There are full 3D to every one of their character models. This game was definitely a high-quality labor of love. The developers spent a lot of time allowing you to customize everything. And I don't know that any other developer would really frankly put this much time into making all of these options unless it was a bunch of older developers that just simply loved the classics and had nostalgia for them. You can definitely tell when this was built by somebody who grew up with this art style, and frankly a lot of these guys, from what I understand, pioneered it. So I'm gonna stop gushing about the art style because I obviously love this. But I understand it if you're not a person who could really get along with this. So let's move on to the conclusion now. Well, in conclusion, this was definitely worth the $30 full price I paid for the physical. I understand it's around $20 for a digital, and yeah, it'll probably go on sale there. But this physical version I guarantee will be a small print release, and it will probably be worth some money once more people figure out what this game is and how high quality is for its price point. It's honestly an unbeatable price point for me, and it makes me give this game a must-buy and must-play rating. The only other thing I want to say is I have to give another shout out to the audio on this game because the music on this game is epic. That's gonna do it for today's review of Proteus. Thank you for watching today's video. It was a blast to make. I upload every single Monday. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. And have yourself a great rest of your day. This is Ogre27 Kane signing out.